Hi folks, I'm just going to do a wee demonstration video here on your new van. So we'll just we'll go inside here and have a wee look. So all we have here first is your control panel. It just switches on and off here, on and off, and you can see your different levels here. That's your vehicle battery. It shows your, and that's your vehicle battery there, shows your voltage, and that's your leisure battery, shows the voltage. Now when you start the van, or when you plug the van in, the charger will go up. And the only other thing we say about batteries is we'd always recommend that you plug the van in at least 2 days a fortnight, especially in the winter time when you're not using the van, to keep your leisure battery good. Now we put a brand new leisure AGM battery onto your van for you. That's it down there, your new AGM battery. And you can see there, this is where you have your fuses all up here. Your main charging fuse is this one. Your solar panel regulator is here, that just works away on its own. And you have your main trips in for your 220 volt. So I'll just move you back up here again. Now you can see your pump on, and it shows your water levels. That's the fresh water, and your wastewater is empty. And that switch doesn't actually do anything, it's just a spare switch. So that's really your water levels there, and your pump here. And you can see when the van's plugged in, there's another wee light that lights up on there. So that's just your control panel. Your electric bed's here, up and down, and there's a wee reset here for it. And that's all there is on that panel. So the next thing we're going to look at here is your fridge, and I'll show you the controls on that. Now we're just working on this little black button here. So if we press that, the fridge lights up. And the whole thing lights up, and then it goes back, always goes back to the last setting it was on. And the last setting was on automatic, and it was running on gas because we're not plugged in. But I'll show you here. Press that again and it'll light up. If you want to move along these symbols here, we'll just press this button. And we're looking for mains, which we don't have. Our gas, and then we have our battery for travelling. That just runs off the engine when you're travelling. Now the main feature on this one here is to leave it on A, which is automatic. And how automatic works, once you switch the fridge on here, whatever power source is available, the fridge will take it. So if you plug the van in, it'll go straight onto the mains. If you start the engine, it'll go straight onto the wee battery, and it'll keep the fridge cool when you're driving. And at the moment now we're not plugged in and the engine's not going, so it's running on gas. And the next one here is your temperature. And this last one here is actually turning off the heater. There's a wee heater in here on this wee bar. This wee bar always stays a wee bit warm to stop condensation, and that's actually on and that's off. So there's no real reason to turn it off, but that's what that actually does. That just heats that wee bar to stop it condensating. And to turn off your fridge, then you just hold your finger on the button here and it switches off. Now when the fridge is on, the only indicator once the screen goes blank that the fridge is on is the wee green light. So we'll see now in a minute when this goes off here now. But we just left with the green light. So the fridge is still on, but this just goes dark here for night time. So the only light you've on to indicate the fridge is going is this one here. So just hold your finger on it, and that switches it off. And then inside you have your fridge at the bottom and your freezer at the top. So that's all there is to your. So the next thing we're going to look at here is your Truma control panel. And at the moment you can see it's off. The only thing it's showing is the time. What we're talking about being off, if there's nothing on this top line, above this black line here, that means the heating's actually off, there's nothing on. So as soon as we turn anything on, it's going to show us on the top line there exactly what's going on. So we'll go ahead now and switch it on. So what we do is you just press this button, and the first thing we see there is the camper van flashing. So that camper van is actually heating the van. This next one over is for heating the water. We'll press it again. It always reverts back to the time again if you don't touch anything. That one that's for heating the water. Along here then is your power source. When talking about your power source, we're talking about if we want to run the heating on gas or electric or both. And the next one here is your fan. So we'll go back here now and we'll set the heating inside the van. We'll get the wee camper flashing and press the button. And you can see it's off. So if we want it on now, we're going to have to start turning this. And what we're doing here now, we're picking the temperature you want to heat the van at inside. So say you want to heat the fan at 24 degrees, press OK. So that's now set that, and we're going to move across here. That's heating the water. We'll skip through that, and we're going on here now to the wee gas bottle and the lighting, and we'll press the button again, and it's showing us here. Now we're going to have 5 choices here. We have gas, and we're going to turn this around, and I'll show you what's going to happen. We have gas, we have mix 1, which is gas and 1 element of electric, mix 2, which is gas and 2 elements of electric, EL1, which is 1 element of electric, and EL2, which is 2 elements of electric. So basically what you have electric on its own, gas on its own, or both of them mixed. So if we wanted to heat the van now on electric, we would, let's see, we'll go back in there again, move over, I've just left it too long there. If we wanted to heat the van on electric, we would move to EL2 if you're plugged in a campsite. If we're not plugged in, the only option you have if you're not plugged in is gas. So we'll press OK, and the last symbol then is the fan, and you can run it on eco or high. That's just the speed of the fan on the heater, so we'll just set that at high for the crack, and that's it at high. And now if we press this return button, which is this one, it'll always revert back to what we set. We've now set the heating, which is the wee flame flashing, on gas, and the fans on high, and it's going to show us the temperature we set, which is 24 degrees. So we'll go back in now, and it'll all show you the time as well. We'll go back in, press the button again, and we're going to switch off the heating. So the camper fan's flashing, press the button and turn this right back until you see off, and then press the button again to store it. Now if we press return at this stage, all we have is the time, and now the heating has disappeared at the top. So we'll go back in now, we'll heat the water, press the button again, and this time we'll skip past the camper and we'll go straight on to the water, which is that one, and we'll press the button, and the same thing again, it's off, and we'll start turning it, and it gives us an option of 40 degrees or 60 degrees. Now 40 would be sufficient for around the kitchen, and if you want to shower you put it to 60. So if we want to heat the water, say at 40 now, we'll press OK, and the same thing as the last time, we'll go on to the wee tank again and press that, and we can pick either we want to heat the water in gas or electric, which is EL2, or half electric, which is EL1, or the mix. But at the moment all we can do is heat it on gas. We'll just heat it on electric here, see what happens. EL2, press OK, and press return. And now we've got heating the water at 40 degrees, and the 2 wee lightings are showing at the top, which is your 2 bars of electric. But you can see now we've brought on a wee symbol which is telling us that we're not plugged in and there's something going on. So it knows it hasn't got mains. So we'll have to go back in there now and change that to gas to get it to go. And bring that back to gas and press OK. And press return again, and that'll get rid of all that stuff. And now the alarm symbol has disappeared. We're now heating the water at 40 degrees on gas. So the same as before, if you want to turn off that water here, go back into the water, press OK, and turn that right back till it says off, and press OK again. And that's the water heating off. Now these bottom symbols are timers. That's the clock setting, and this is the timer. Now it's in the book, it'll tell you how to set that timer, but we'd recommend that you just work on that top line at the moment, heat the van and heat the water. It'll show you in the book how to set that timer. So we'll press return, and everything's off. And if we want to turn off that panel, hold your finger on the button and the wee panel goes off, and that's just your thermostat there for your heating. So that's the heating. So the next thing I'm going to show you here, folks, is how to operate the satellite. Now there's a wee TV here at the back, and that's connected into the satellite. So you're going to have to come around here and switch on this TV first, and you come around here and switch it on here. Now at this stage there's still nothing happening, because you'll have to come around here then to this button, and you can see there's a dot, which means it's switched on. And if you want to bring up the dish, we just press the 2 buttons here at the same time and take your finger off. You'll see that coming up, and that'll start turning around. So that's the dish starting to go up, and once that locks in, then you'll get your channels here on the back TV. Now that 185 on there was an actual channel on the back telly, so if you can always leave it on, it'll always go looking for the satellite that 185 is connected onto, which is Aster 28. So that's the way looking there now. Now what happened there now when I switched on the satellite was it went on to...
Carrow Road is the home ground of which of these professional football clubs?
Let's see. Let's turn this down for you here now. What actually happened there, I switched on the TV and the satellite went on and found Astra 1. And now Astra 1 is the German channels. Now in this remote control, which is this one here, what you'll have to do is, if you can see that we're on channel 248, you'll have to go back the way on this here to get onto a channel that's on Astra 28 on this TV at the back. So you can see there now we're on channel 248, and I can move that channels up and down now. That's all your English speaking channels there. That's in your back TV. Now you'll have to be aware on this, with this TV at the back being connected to this, that you're going to have to watch on this TV here. You're going to have to watch English channels for the satellite to send power down to the front TV. Now I'll go down here and have a look at that now. That's your front TV there now, and that's getting the satellite signal from the satellite. But what I'm saying is the back TV needs to be switched on to an Astra 28, which is an English speaking channel, for the satellite to lock into the English speaking satellite, which is Astra 28. Let's just be aware of that. On this one here, this remote control, and you'll have to point it in towards that, and you can see what I can change the channels down. You're on channel 4 there now. Now, I don't know what you're going to get in this back TV. It'll be all English stuff. What I'm saying is, if at the start it comes up here and it says Astra 1, change the channel back the way until you get onto an English speaking channel like UTV or channel 4, and the satellite will go around. What I'm saying is the satellite will lock on to whatever channel is picked on this TV. But I'm saying you can pick German channels on this TV, so it'll move to Astra 1, but you need Astra 2. But basically all you is come along and switch on that there. Now, when we come back around to switch off the satellite, you can see now at the moment, your TV at the front here is tuned in. That's all your BBC channels there now. BBC One. You know, so you've all your BBCs and stuff there on your Avtech TV, and that's just running off the satellite. There's no air in this van, so it's just a satellite only. But you'll once you get away working, it's grand. It is handy enough. If you ever switch on the engine with the you can see the dash outside is up. If you switch on the engine now and forget to bring the satellite down, it'll actually motorise down itself. So you don't. But I wouldn't use that as a default. But if you do ever forget to bring the satellite down, how you bring the satellite down is hold your finger on these two buttons here, and you actually see the dash outside going down. So once the dash goes down, you can switch it off then. It's just a wee bit noisy, but that's just the way they are. But you'll hear it going down there now and stopping. And now we're just back to the green dot, and we've no signal here in the back TV now because the thing's gone dead. And you can switch it off here. That's your satellite off. So that's all there is to the satellite. And this TV at the back, then you can switch it off here as well. So the remote control for the TV's here, and that's the remote control for the satellite. And that changes the channels on that TV. Now, you can see in the back here, you just have your different sockets and stuff here as well. Now in the toilet here, you have your flush. And someone has wired up the fan, so what that does there, just creates a wee bit of negative pressure in the toilet when you open and close the shutter. That's the fan on it. And there's a wee remote control in here, which is a bit mad, but it works the lights here in the shower. You can change them different colours. So that's just the wee remote control, and that's just left in the cupboard here. So I'll just switch off your shower lights here. That's in behind the wall there. So that's the only other sort of features you have. You have different lights. All your light switches are up here, and your taps and stuff here. So we're just looking here underneath this cushion here now. You can see there's a valve there for your fresh water. So what you do is, it's closed at the moment. This is to drain your fresh water tank. Just give it 2 turns back the way, and that'll drain your fresh water tank out onto the street, and then close it again forward. And it shows you a wee sticker there, just shows you exactly. If you go 3/4 of a turn on that, it'll actually leave 20 litres. So you just do a wee 3/4 turn, it'll leave 20 litres in the bottom. And if you go 2 full turns in, it'll empty it completely. So that's what that wee sticker's telling you there. And there's a wee cleaning hatch over here at the side as well. So that's how your valve is just closed there now. Give it 2 turns to empty it, and 3/4 of a turn will leave you 20 litres in the tank. Your wee table as well, it's got a foot push here. So you can push that, and your table will start rotating around. And it's got the different locks and stuff underneath as well. So we're just looking at your hob here now. These all operate here, just the knobs in the front, and you have your igniter here. You can see them all lighting up. And you have your grill on this side here, and your oven around this side. And at 0, the wee dot here, they're all off as well. That's your grill pan and stuff in here. So you can see you'll have to hit the igniter on your grill here. You can see that's your grill lit. And then around the bottom end is your oven. You see the flames at the back there, that's your oven. So it's your oven around that way. Up there in the middle it's off, and then your grill's around this way. So that's your hob and oven and grill. So we're just outside your van here now. I'll just show you a few bits. You have there's a lock, you have a door retainer here that clips into here. You have a lock here as well that your handle here goes round into. That just pulls down, and you can use that for security at night time. And your toilet cassette's in here. The normal thing, it just clips out here, clips back in, there's wheels on it, and you'll empty your cassette by screwing off the lid. Moving along here, you have that's just the exhaust for your heater. And then inside here in the boot, you can see what you have over there. That's straps for your new bike rack. And you have carpet sets here as well, and a ladder for the bed. And you have a running pole here, and a couple of wee hangers. And in here now in this cupboard is your heater. Now, what we wouldn't recommend at all is that you store anything in this compartment. The heater needs a lot of air to operate, and there's a lot of pipes and wires in there, so don't store anything in there if you can. What we're looking at on here is your frost valve. Now this is your frost valve, and what that does, it drains the water out of the heater here, and the vent of frost. So at 2 degrees, what will happen is that'll open there, and that button there will shoot out. So that's the open position. To close it again, close that and press in the button. So what'll happen is, when that happens, you're going to lose all your water pressure in your taps. So anytime you have any issues with your water or pressures in your taps, always come out and check this, especially later on in the year when it can be cold in evening times, and that could knock itself around. But in the winter time, if you want to come along here and winterize the van yourself, you would drain both your tanks inside, make sure your pump's off, come around here, open your valve, and open all your taps in between hot and cold, and all the water in the van will drain out through this valve here. Now what we'd recommend at this stage is, even if you could blow into the taps to blow any excess water away from the tap heads, it'll all help to get the water out of the system. But there's your opening valve there. So that's how you reset it. You reset it that way, and always make sure you press in the button. So that's your heater. There's a wee handle in there, you can see it opens and closes for heat underneath the van. So moving along here on the left hand side of the van, we have our diesel fill here. Along here then we have our fresh water fill. Now you need to make sure that somebody doesn't put diesel in here, because they're very close to each other, but just to be aware of that. Your gas locker here now with your gas cylinder, and these vans always run on propane. Don't ever use butane gas in these, they have to always run on propane. There's a full cylinder of gas, and we even put on a new hose here for you as well. And how these operate here, there's just a valve at the top here, clockwise to close, anti-clockwise to open. So to change the tank, you close your valve, you get your spanner which we've supplied to you, and you loosen that nut clockwise. It loosens clockwise and it tightens anti-clockwise. And always check, there's a rubber in there, it needs to be checked when you take that off, that the rubber's intact. So that's how you change your bottle of gas. Close that valve, and loosen that clockwise. That goes clockwise to loosen and anti-clockwise to tighten, and that's how you change your gas. And you have enough room in there for another cylinder as well. And underneath the fan here, you can see behind the passenger wheel you have here your waste pipe that operates from inside. I'll just show you that. So I'm just showing you your waste valve here. There's the handle for it there. It's just above the pipe itself, just hidden by the skirt. Just open and close that. So we're just moving into your cab here again, and we'll show you your engine pulls here. Your jack and wheel brace kit's in here. And if we move around here now to your engine, the engine's been fully serviced, all the filters have been done. Your window wash is here. If you come in along here, you'll see somewhere down here is your dipstick. That's your engine water. And then over here on this side, if you ever have to jump start the van, you can put your positive on there and your negative say onto that hook there, and that'll start the van for you. So there's not much else to see in there. As I say, it's all been serviced up, so you'll get away for a little wee while. So we're just moving onto your cab here and show you a few bits and pieces. This is your stereo here. Now there's a isolation switch for the stereo, which is here, just beside the steering wheel, and when you hit that, that's going to just kill the stereo completely. So if you're storing the van and you're not using the van, switch that off. You can see here, as soon as we go into reverse, you'll get your reverse camera. Below that you'll have your aircon, which is that button there if you want aircon. The only other thing you mightn't have much experience with is the cruise control. The cruise control, you just switch it on here and you press it up the way to activate and switch it back off again. And there's the resume button here in the end. And when the aircon's on, you'll get cold air in that wee compartment in the front there. And you have a wee bit of storage here in your two different compartments. And your seats swivel around as well. So this is your swivel for your seat here. This wee handle here pulls up and that'll swivel your seats around. So folks, I think we've covered everything that should get you started anyway, but anytime you have any trouble, you give us a wee shout. You can ring us anytime. And the best luck with your new van, and have a great summer. Thank you.